Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
That breaking news coming from Lenawee County. Michigan State Police say they have arrested a suspect in the murder of Dee Warner.
Warner went missing in April of 2021. She's never been seen or heard from since.
State Police kind of short on details so far, but they did confirm the arrest on social media here within the last hour.
So let's get right out to Jacqueline Francis. She is live on this story for us. Jacqueline, this case has taken so many twists and turns.
Karen, a lot of twists and turns. You can only imagine how the family is feeling tonight. Just a few moments ago, I got off the phone with Dee's brother as he's taking it all in, along with Dee's 5 children. Here's what we know tonight. Michigan State Police say they made an arrest in the murder of 52-year-old Dee Warner. She was last seen at her Tipton home in April of 2021. The investigation has kept the community on their toes since then, including searches for her body just earlier this year. As far as we know, her body was never found, and police are remaining tight-lipped about who they arrested in her murder. We're working to get more information and get things confirmed for you. Police did say that they'll be able to put out a lot more details tomorrow after the person arrested is arraigned. We'll stay on this for you. Reporting live, Jacqueline Francis, Local 4.
All right, a major break in this story we've been following for years now. All right, thank you, Jacqueline.
They say it's done nothing but reopen the deep wounds from the school shooting.
It's time for us to fight back, bring healing and justice to our Wildcats.
A group of Oxford High School students speaks out and demands change.
Today, those students walked out of class and made a series of demands and encouraged more students to speak out at an upcoming school board meeting.
It comes amid the recent release of an independent report detailing the shooting and the district's response to it. Sean Lay, live for us this evening. Sean, these students are angry.
Angry and very much hurt. It's not just so much demands, but demands and things they believe should have happened a long time ago with reasoning, details, and facts behind what are called demands. Students are saying when they walk back into Oxford High School every day, they are certainly reminded every day of all the mistakes that were made leading up to the shooting. They say almost 2 years later, mistakes are still being made.
We have been silenced and denied the right for healing and accountability for far too long.
2 words, healing and accountability. Oxford High School junior Giselle Gilliam expressing Oxford students' pain and frustration with those 2 powerful words, healing and accountability. Both, she says, have not come almost 2 years after this horrific tragedy, adding to the very real, everyday trauma inside their school. The teen spelling out what students believe needs to happen for any healing to start.
The immediate removal of board members Aaron Reese, Colleen Schultz, Heather Schaefer, Mary Hanser, ex-principal Stephen Wolf, and counselor Sean Hopkins from any aspect of Oxford Community Schools as they failed to perform their duties and implement necessary policies to protect their children.
The just-released Guidepost Solutions report that broke down all of the breakdowns that led to the shooting was the final word for students to speak out.
It's disgusting to see these people responsible for the death of my friends bleeding out in our hallways, that we have to stand in this community and know that they're walking freely, working with troubled children in the district, and still in charge and in places of, they were met with promotions as a reward for having the death of these children on their hands. We will not sit here and be silent and accept these people freely walking in our community. It's not okay.
Students saying it's not okay. Very strong words there, but also passionate, reasoned with a lot of facts behind them. Bottom line, if the board members aren't going to be removed or stepped down, the students, led by Giselle there, has started an official petition to go around the area to have the officials they're naming removed. We're live tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4, back to you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Sean. A deal to release some hostages taken in the Hamas terrorist attack on Israel is closer than ever, and that's according to some sources.
Yeah. It would also include a ceasefire. Word of the truce comes on the same day Israel says it has surrounded a refugee camp searching for members of Hamas.
An agonizing wait could soon be over for some of the families of the more than 200 Hamas-held hostages. Sources, including a senior U.S. official, telling NBC News a tentative deal has been reached pending Israeli approval. Israeli government leaders have been meeting throughout the day to work through the details following negotiations mediated by the U.S. and Qatar.
We're now very close.
President Biden stressing how tenuous the deal still is.
Nothing is done until it's done.
For the families waiting for word, weeks of worrying are now compounded into one pressing question.
Is my family going to be in this first batch or not?
Israeli-American Galia Mizrahi has 4 family members held hostage by Hamas, her cousins aged 17, 11, and 9, and their mother. Under the potential deal, a senior U.S. official telling NBC News roughly 50 women and children hostages Hamas took into Gaza would be freed in exchange for around 150 Israeli-held Palestinian prisoners, many of whom would also be women and children. Israel would run security checks on any prisoners released. The sources said there would be a 4 to 5 day pause in fighting to allow for the hostage exchange. And, in addition, as many as 300 to 400 trucks of humanitarian aid per day would be allowed into Gaza, along with more fuel trucks. Hamas says it needs to move around freely to consolidate the remaining hostages, and to facilitate that, Israel may agree to suspend overhead drone flights for up to 6 hours a day. If the temporary ceasefire holds, more hostages could be released as desperate families wait.
Now, a senior Israeli official is now telling NBC News there is an option to extend the ceasefire for each day that Hamas releases an additional 10 hostages. That, of course, if all goes well, but this has been developing by the hour throughout the day. We will stay on that. Other news tonight, a police training exercise in Taylor is the subject of a new $25,000 lawsuit.
Now, this is filed by a Roseville man who was accidentally shot during that training at Heritage Park back in April of 2022. According to the lawsuit, one of the officers was supposed to be using a training pistol, but switched it out for a real firearm before the accidental shot was fired. The man shot says he suffered injuries to the stomach, pelvis, and left hip. The lawsuit also names an unnamed officer who was allegedly responsible for making sure no live rounds were on the training site.
Folks at that school south across the border in Ohio have an adorable little tradition for Rivalry Week. All across the campus in Columbus, you will see little red X's all over all of the M's. Hilarious, isn't it? Really, my sides. Or it could be that they just don't like seeing things spelled correctly. We don't know. But we do know that you may not be keeping count, so let us remind you, it has been 1,452 days since Ohio State last beat Michigan. November 30th, 2019. Not that anyone is keeping count.
I love the energy in this game. I do. It's fun. It is.
It really is.
Bernie's here now with a look closer as we inch closer to game day.
We
grow up. Ohio State football.
No, we're going to stay like kids.
Oh, yeah, why not? Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan Day knows he has not won this game for the past 2 years, and he does not want to spend the next year defending himself, having lost 3 straight to Michigan. Kickoff is noon Saturday. The line has dropped. Vegas showing a little love for Ohio State. Went from 3.5 to 3. Michigan still favored. Day said today that blocking out the distractions is what's key heading into this game.
The only thing that matters is this game, is this team is preparing. The rest of it doesn't matter. So that's what we have to do. We have got to stay disciplined enough to focus on that. And it goes back to the conversation about emotion. Letting, emotion of the game and everything get in the way. We can't do that. We're not going to let any of that stuff get in our way in terms of distractions. We're just going to focus on this team, this season, and preparing the best we possibly can.
For Saturday noon kickoff, this game is so big, both teams have been practicing plays for it since spring practice, and that should give you some idea of the importance for both sides. Also remember, Jim Harbaugh will not be on the sidelines on Saturday.
And if the margins are as tight as the point spread would suggest, that these two teams always suggest, his not being at the game could be enough, right? Could make a big difference.
Could not be. You just
could not be.
What are you doing? You're just flipping coins here.
Right?
Right?
That's exactly it. Yeah, it's going to be a thrill. All right, Burton.
Thanks, Coach.
Well, let's look at the weather now. Because today, we'll talk about the weather coming for the game, but today is one of the busiest travel days of the year as we take a live look at Metro Airport. Look at that, kind of hazy, foggy, right now at this hour. Just a handful, though, of delays or cancellations, so that's good. We have had a rain around for most of the day.
It has been kind of messy out there if you're running around doing errands. Let's get over to Brian Sherman. He is in for Kim Adams tonight with what we can expect as we head into tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Karen and Devin. It's going to be a rainy evening for the most part. Exact Track 40 radar still tracking scattered showers across a good portion of the region, especially north of Metro Detroit, from Port Huron over toward Lapeer, as well as Flint, and even some scattered showers in Washtenaw, southern portions of Wayne County, and working into Monroe County. This hangs on through the late evening hours tonight, but I do think drier weather moves in as we go through the overnight and into our Wednesday. Much of the same up in Mount Clemens, plenty of cloud cover, raindrops on the lens with chilly temperatures, most everybody into the 40s. This system quickly moving off to the north and east, so we will bring the rain to an end, but it's not going to be until later tonight. So we'll keep the chance of rain showers into the forecast with slowly falling temperatures into the 40s. We head for the 30s overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. The good news, this picture is going to change very drastically. We'll talk about Thanksgiving, and then, dare I say, we have snow in the forecast. I'll break down everything you need to know in your full forewarned forecast coming up in just a few minutes.